we notice that King Saul thought he was doing well by taking the booty and sacrificing it to the Lord. And so he was quite surprised when he found that actually he had, although wanted to do good, actually done the opposite. For he had been given a clear instruction as to what he had to do and how he had to do it. He had to destroy all. And so it is that the teaching coming out of this obedience is better than sacrifice applies also to the Christian soul. In our time, one does observe over the Christian planet a lot of disobedience so as to offer something to the Lord in a way that we think perhaps glorious. But obedience is the true glory of the creature. Why? It has given the most dear part of itself, the will. And that is the element of true worship, the will offered in sacrifice. And so it is that to disappear humbly as a person at the altar and in church, and in true creatureliness, to await the command of the Lord, the will of the Lord, therefore, and to do that and that only, is far more glorious in the eyes of God, and does glorify Him truly, than to do something spectacular of our own invention, in which we've come out of order of creatureliness. In our Catholic worship, the will of God is expressed both in the general instruction of the Missal and in the rubrics, step by step, as in the liturgy of the hours, and also the instruction with regard to the lectionary. The will of God is also expressed in canon law and in the authentic magisterium with regard to specific issues here and there. And we are safe in that objective manifestation of the divine will. But people also are not just clergy, are part of the Church's worship and of the responsibility of the creature to give a sacrifice of the will. One observes the gratification that some find in being in a category of the people of God that surpasses others in public, so it seems. And so, against the will of God as expressed in official documents, they will come up as extraordinary ministers when there is no need or call for them. For the will of God has been clearly expressed and insisted upon, actually, that such practices are extraordinary and demand a very large number of people awaiting Holy Communion. This is grave abuse. But there are also not a few clergy who do not listen to the Holy Spirit with regard to the rights of the people to receive the body of the Lord in the way that the Spirit is placing on their heart. That is, in a creaturely mode, humbly. For there are modes that are an expression of interiority and others actually of pride. And where is delicacy if a candidate for the body of the Lord is hurt at that nuptial moment of encounter? It says a lot about the interior life of those who push people away at that most sacred of moments and leave them hurting. What has become of worship if people go away with bruised souls? In general, we need to ask ourselves, what does the Lord actually want? For if we want our own thing and insist upon it, we are not worshipping. Or at least we're not worshipping the right person. We could be worshipping ourselves. And using the podium's liturgy to draw attention to ourselves is a form of self-worship, self-gratification. And so the sin of Saul is perhaps more present in our time than we might care to think. Adoremus in aeternum, sanctissimum sacramentum, laudate Dominum omnes gentes, laudate eum omnes populi, quoniam confirmata est super nos misericordia eius, et veritas Domini manet in aeternum. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Adoremus in aeternum, sanctissimum sacramentum.